Week 6 Fantasy Football QB rankings and picks featuring Justin Herbert, Drake Maye, Jordan Love, and Baker Mayfield. We're heading into Week 6 of the fantasy football season, and quarterback play has been as unpredictable as ever. Some stars are finally rounding into form, while others have left fantasy managers scrambling for streaming options. Whether you're sitting comfortably atop your league standings or fighting to stay afloat, finding the right quarterback can make or break your lineup this week. The quarterback position continues to be defined by consistency at the top and volatility in the middle tiers. With several big names on bye weeks and others struggling through injuries, fantasy owners must balance upside with stability. This week's slate features juicy matchups, potential breakout performances, and a few names that could surprise everyone. Let's break down the Week 6 quarterback rankings, projections, and fantasy outlooks, including stars like Justin Herbert, rookies like Drake Maye, and steady risers like Jordan Love and Baker Mayfield. 1. Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs, vs. Denver Broncos. Even in a down year by his standards, Patrick Mahomes remains fantasy football royalty. The two-time MVP is averaging just over 20 fantasy points per game, and Week 6 presents one of the most favorable matchups on the calendar. The Broncos have allowed the most passing touchdowns and the highest passer rating in the league through 5 weeks. With Rashee Rice emerging as a more reliable target and Travis Kelce continuing to command attention, Mahomes should feast. Expect a high-volume passing day and multiple scores. Projection: 315 passing yards, 3 TDS, 1 INT. 2. Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills, at Miami Dolphins. Josh Allen's dual-threat ability makes him one of the safest weekly plays in fantasy football. He's averaging 27.8 fantasy points over his last 3 games, and even against a solid Dolphins defense, Allen's rushing upside keeps him elite. The Bills have relied heavily on Allen's improvisation and deep ball accuracy, especially in red zone situations. Expect a competitive game script that forces Allen to air it out. Projection: 280 passing yards, 45 rushing yards, 3 total TDS. 3. Jalen Hurts, Philadelphia Eagles, vs. New York Giants. Hurts continues to deliver top-tier fantasy numbers even when the Eagles' offense isn't firing on all cylinders. His combination of rushing touchdowns and passing volume gives him a high floor every week. Against a Giants defense that struggles to contain mobile quarterbacks, Hurts could have one of his best statistical games of the season. Look for Philadelphia to exploit mismatches with A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith downfield while Hurts adds value on designed runs. Projection: 260 passing yards, 60 rushing yards, 3 total TDS. 4. Justin Herbert, Los Angeles Chargers, at San Francisco 49ers. Justin Herbert remains one of the most reliable fantasy quarterbacks, though his Week 6 matchup against the 49ers is no easy task. San Francisco boasts an aggressive pass rush, but Herbert's quick release and strong arm give him the tools to thrive even under pressure. With Keenan Allen still a target monster and rookie Ladd McConkey gaining traction, Herbert should continue to post solid numbers. Expect the Chargers to lean on the passing game early to neutralize San Francisco's defensive front. Projection: 285 passing yards, 2 TDS, 1 INT. 5. Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens, vs. Cleveland Browns. Lamar Jackson's fantasy ceiling remains elite thanks to his legs, but inconsistency in Baltimore's receiving core has capped his passing output. The Browns' defense ranks near the top of the league in sacks and turnovers forced, meaning Jackson may need to run more often than usual to keep drives alive. Fantasy managers should still feel confident starting him. His floor is one of the highest in fantasy. But temper expectations for massive passing yardage this week. Projection: 225 passing yards, 70 rushing yards, 2 total TDS. 6. Joe Burrow, Cincinnati Bengals, at Baltimore Ravens. Joe Burrow finally looked like his old self in Week 5, showing improved mobility and timing. That's good news for fantasy managers, as the Bengals' passing game has life again. Facing the Ravens secondary will be challenging, but Burrow's chemistry with Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins gives him plenty of upside. If the offensive line can keep him upright, expect Burrow to deliver another QB1 level performance. Projection: 270 passing yards, 2 TDS. 7. Drake Maye, New England Patriots, vs. Houston Texans. Rookie quarterback Drake Maye is starting to find his rhythm. While New England's offense is still a work in progress, Maye's poise and arm strength have impressed through the first 5 weeks. Facing Houston's young defense could provide the breakout opportunity fantasy managers have been waiting for. He's not a must-start yet, but in deeper leagues or 2 QB formats, Maye offers intriguing upside, especially with his rushing ability starting to emerge. Projection: 240 passing yards, 35 rushing yards, 2 total TDS. 8. Jordan Love, Green Bay Packers, at Chicago Bears. Jordan Love continues to exceed expectations as the Packers' new QB1. While he's not always flashy, his ability to extend plays and find open receivers has made him a steady fantasy option. This week, he faces a Bears defense that ranks near the bottom in takeaways and has given up multiple passing touchdowns in 4 of 5 games. Expect Love to post another efficient outing with a mix of short passes and vertical shots to Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. Projection: 255 passing yards, 2 TDS. 9. Kirk Cousins, Minnesota Vikings, vs. Detroit Lions. Cousins remains one of the most consistent fantasy quarterbacks, often overlooked but rarely disappointing. With Justin Jefferson healthy and Jordan Addison gaining confidence, Cousins should have another strong outing against a Lions secondary that has allowed several explosive plays this season. If this game turns into a shootout, Cousins could easily finish as a top 5 QB in Week 6. Projection: 300 passing yards, 2 TDS, 1 INT. 10. Baker Mayfield, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, vs. Atlanta Falcons. Baker Mayfield has quietly become one of the best fantasy streaming options this season. He's playing efficient football, taking care of the ball, and showing excellent chemistry with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Atlanta's defense has struggled to generate pressure, which bodes well for Mayfield's pocket presence. If you're dealing with a bye-week dilemma or an injured starter, Mayfield is a great plug-and-play option in Week 6. Projection: 245 passing yards, 2 TDS. Sleeper picks for Week 6. C.J. Stroud, Houston Texans, at New England Patriots. Stroud has been remarkably consistent, but the Patriots' defense could test his patience. Still, his poise and arm talent make him a sneaky top 10 option. Sam Howell, Washington Commanders, at Arizona Cardinals. Howell has been up and down, but the Cardinals' secondary offers a favorable matchup for anyone desperate for a fill-in QB. Matthew Stafford, Los Angeles Rams, vs. San Francisco 49ers. Stafford's chemistry with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp gives him high upside potential even in tough matchups. Quarterbacks to avoid in Week 6. Russell Wilson, New York Giants, vs. New Orleans Saints. The Saints' defense has allowed the fewest fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks this season. Desmond Ridder, Atlanta Falcons, at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Ridder's inconsistency and low passing volume make him a risky start.